Leader of Opposition Dr. Mukul today stated that apart from the third-party auditing by a technical body to assess the dome collapse, an independent monitoring team should be put in place to simultaneously check the construction work of the new assembly building at Mawdyangdyang.
There should be, and there will be. That is what has been decided, that an independent technical body will be engaged for the purpose of going into details to verify as to what is the cause, and then give the report, based on which further course of action will follow inconsistent with the provision of the law. When the work is on a real-time basis, there must be a quality monitoring and quality check put in place. Otherwise, there will be no deterrence. And keeping in mind the vulnerability of people who will be probably, I must say, officials and then people who are vested with the responsibility of monitoring the work, whether they are vulnerable to any manipulation. All these things are required to be understood, and therefore a system which itself is capable of deterring is needed. But however, this part seems to have been missing. If you recollect, on the day when after the High Powered Committee met, I have also shared with the media that we have put in place the felt need of ensuring that there should be an independent quality monitoring team. As they started initiating the implementation, the department has gone ahead with the appointment of design and consultants, architectural consultants. Now, what are those procedures, whether the CBC guidelines have been followed or not? Because here the question is whether there was a problem with the design or whether in the quality of the work. We cannot jump into conclusion unless we have the report before us, which should be an outcome of the appropriate technical assessment to verify as to what has gone wrong.
He also alleged that there are criminal charges against the architecture consultant of the new assembly building project.
I'm a little bit perturbed because I have done a little bit of homework to find out immediately after what has happened. And today, as I wanted to confirm as to who are the consultants who were appointed. Now, that's why the issue of following the CBC guidelines, because there are clauses which indicates that any participant in the bid will have to have certain self-declaration about any instant of criminal cases pending against them. Now, therefore, it will be incumbent upon all of us, including the government, to also look at this angle and why, if it has happened, why it has happened, since it has happened. Now, I'm disturbed by these few inputs which is available with me. This is pertaining to a letter written by the CBI and the Anti-Corruption Wing, issued on the 17th of April 2018, which is self-explanatory, where certain award of capital works, consultancy, sanction of funds without authority, failure to follow the transparency requirements and the CBC guidelines in awarding the contract for architectural consultancy and construction works by one of the organizations, Government of India, was under the scrutiny for irregularities and alleged instances of corruption in the process. Now, in this work, the associated firms which were provided with architectural consultancy and construction work also involves one of the firms called MS Design and Associates, Noida. Okay. And these are the notices which were indicative of the inputs which are supposed to be provided to the CBI by the agency concerned who awarded the work for architectural consultancy and construction work to these different firms. It's not just one firm, there are quite a number of firms, but this particular notice is pertaining to the award of contract for architectural consultancy and construction work by ESI Corporation for certain works, as I have said, and this pertains to the work awarded to Design Associates Noida and also some other firms, including files pertaining to some works taken up by UPRN Limited. This is available. This is self-explanatory. You can further have investigative journalism, which you always have been doing, and then come out and enlighten us further. I'll share with you all this. So therefore, in the whole process of exercise, unless they are proven not guilty, we should always consider that the award of contract to whom the firms to whom the award of contract has been given should be considered as respondents. Also, those who are associated with designing, etc., also should be considered as respondent. Even officer who was on the field, who was actually monitoring and supervising the work on a daily basis, also must be considered as respondent. So therefore, the manner in which we should further proceed in engaging a kind of inquiry which should be considered completely insulated from influence by these firms. That means, in other words, independent means completely independent. And even this process of appointing a third party independent inquiry agency must be done by following a process of transparency and the CVC guidelines. This is what I have insisted upon.